Oh, hey. We're gonna do something a little different. Peanut butter. What kind of talk? We're gonna do something a little different on the Entering into Space channel today. Like a little different, like a lot of different. We're going on a field trip. I'm gonna leave the comforts of my tiny little backyard here to travel north to some darker skies and finish up a Heart Nebula project on our little astro-romantical weekend. So Lisa and I are headed to Ocala, Florida, Lake Kerr, in a little VRBO rental house, little cabin on the lake. So not only is there going to be some darker skies, we're going to some Bortle 4 skies, get out of this Bortle 7 Blitzkrieg. Who uses that word anymore? Yeah, so we're going to go up there. Not only is there going to be some astrophotography going on, but a little fishing, a little hiking, and hopefully an adventure. Going to pick up Lisa from teaching those little rugrats all day long. We're out of here.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
Are you leaving from here? See me.
I'm there, right?
What are you videotaping?
Little YouTube
Oh, we're going!
Yay!
Hi!
Hey, we're going!
I'm real. What's that noise? Oh, you're a seatbelt. Look at them. Hi. Oh my God, that is so cute.
Crazy nice. I mean, for real. Look, our little cabin, and then another cabin. Wait, another cabin. And what? The lake. And there's turkeys and deer. And then there's astrophotography. So last night was super cloudy, the first night we got here, but hopefully tonight it'll clear up some, I think it's supposed to be, stop watching me. I think it's supposed to be a little clearer tomorrow night to finish up the Heart Nebula. And being here in the border four skies, gonna shoot some RGB. Good grief. It's just not meant to be. I think it's actually going to clear up when we're home tomorrow night. Oh well. There's always fishing. And just like that, our little vacation is over. No images. Not many. It was cloudy the whole time. And tonight, it's gonna be like clear. We'll be going back home today to my little backyard, where I'll try to finish this project up. And we'll be coming back. This is a very nice place. A great view. Look at all the sky that we have. And a neat little house. Yeah. And the fishing. Tore it up. It's great. But yeah. North view behind me. Look at that. This place is nice. So VRBO, that's what we used. So if you're in the city and you want to get some darker skies, look them up. Find a little house like this. Rent it. Get some darker skies. Take a chance. We're not bummed. We'll be back. So next time you see me, I'll be in the familiar backyard, finishing the Heart Nebula project. Back from Ocala, back in the backyard. The moon is, it's the moon. What are you gonna do? It rained the whole time we were there. Not the whole time. I got little glimpses of some darker skies, which is really cool. It really was. I did get a few subs, but unfortunately, I just couldn't stay focused because the seeing conditions were so bad. But what I did get, a couple, like 2 red subs came in, and wow, it's definitely a difference. Something that I want to work on getting back to and doing more of. Trying to go back to that site, and you know, fingers crossed on the weather. So when it gets dark, I'm gonna jump over here to Nina and go through an RGB program sequence setup to shoot some color on the Heart Nebula, and then combine it in, probably use both PixInsight and Photoshop to combine that. I like Photoshop because it's more organic. I don't ever get to use that word, so very rarely in a sentence, so organic. Anyway, let's let this really bright star go down, and we'll get over here to Nina, set up a sequencing program, and see what the first few subs look like. As promised, it's dark, and we are going to jump over here to Nina and set up a sequence for RGB for the Heart Nebula. I've got it currently on a 2-second loop on the red filter. This is the imaging tab. And something that Nina has added is they have a sequence builder and then sequencer. You can kind of set these parameters up. You know, honestly, it's too much, Nina, but you have to use both. So, and when I say too much, I mean like there's too many options. I don't know, we want stop and start. But anyway, I'm getting used to the new changes. So let's jump over here to Stellarium. If you're not really familiar with astrophotography and where stuff is out in the night sky, we can turn on our DSOs here. So in the north, this is my backyard. Hey neighbor. North, there's Polaris. Click on that. Polaris. So you want to come just to your right, so northeast, and up just a little bit. Zoom in here. And a little bit higher. And we're shooting the Heart Nebula. And so if I click this little button here, it'll post an ocular view, which is not my scope that I'm using now. I'm using the 80mm APO triplet. There we go. And we are using a focal reducer, 6.3. Let's see, put it back on that. Yeah, so that's pretty much going to be my field of view. So back over here in Nina, what I've done is I have targets loaded up, and in the sequence builder tab, we're going to say load target. We're going to click that. It's going to take me to a folder on my PC here. I go into plans. I'm going to come in here to Heart Nebula 80mm, because I do have a Skywatcher Quattro, which is like triple the amount of focal length. So you're going to get this up here and you're going to be like, what is all of this crap? So this was set up for my HA run that I've already done. So we're adding color to that now. So what we're going to do is probably going to change this to, we're just going to take a guess and say 40 images. Since I'm shooting color, I'm going to do 180 seconds, which is 3 minutes. 3-minute subs. It's a light frame. We're going to change the filter to red. We're still going to bend one by one. We're going to have dithering on, which is moving the scope around. And we're going to do that between each frame. That cancels out a lot of noise. So there is a sequence, but we need to add the other filters. So we're going to hit this little plus button down here. And then all we have to do is change that to green. Add one more. Change it to blue. So because it's red, blue, green, and we're going to blur this image in processing anyway, focus is not critical, but you know, we do want to be somewhat focused. So we're just going to focus our red filter and let this do a loop. So it's going to shoot red, green, blue, all the way until it's shot 40 of each one of these. So we want to slew to the target. We want to center the target. Drop down here in our auto-focusing tab. We want to autofocus on start. And we're gonna turn off this autofocus on filter change, because we don't want to go through that process for every time it changes the filter, since we're doing a loop. If I was doing all red and then green and then blue, I would probably do that. But since I want to try to make sure I get an image out of this night, so I'm shooting red, blue, green over and over and over again, I'm not going to change the filter. I am, however, going to run an autofocus. It says after elapsed time. I have that on, and I'm going to run that every 60 minutes. And then if there's an HFR, half flux radius adjustment,
of 10%, it's going to do an autofocus. So that being set up, there used to be a play button down here, but we don't have it. Let me do one thing here. Let's go over here to our equipment tab. Let's go to scope. And for some reason, we are already unparked. So going back to the sequence builder tab, hit this little paper icon button, and it's going to bring us over to the sequencer tab now. Let's do a calibration. Let's say force calibration. And you see how we've got this little red exclamation point here? It's saying it can't guide because our PhD2 is not turned on. So let's open it up. This is a lot, I know, right? Let's connect all. And let's hit the loop button just for the heck of it. There's Polaris. Let's go back to the sequence builder tab, I know, and it says this is gonna run till 1 a.m., but I wanna shoot longer than that. So I'm gonna change that to 60. I wanna get a full night in. Let's see what that puts it to, 321. So you gotta factor in dithering and a meridian flip that's gonna take probably 20 minutes. So you're probably looking at almost 4 o'clock by the time this is done. Which is good. I can deal with that. So we're back over here. So one other neat thing that we can do is see how down here you've got all these triggers, but you've got a loop condition. So we're gonna hit the plus button on that. It says loop until a certain time. Well, it gets light here at about 5:30 in the morning, so I'm just gonna change that to 5:30. No matter what, it's going to stop. It's either going to run through all the images and stop, or it is going to run till 5:30 a.m. and stop. And see, once again, it's like back and forth. If you're Nina and you're watching this, like, why all this back and forth? You got to go back over here to the sequence tab. I have these other two things set up, and I guess you can do that over here. I'm sure there's conditions that you can set when you build it here. Just not used to that yet. But one thing I do want to make sure is that at the end of everything, we're going to warm the camera and we're going to park the mount. It's critical for me. So right now, let's go back over here to our imaging tab. We're running this loop here, and let's just turn it off. And then we'll go to the sequencer tab, and I think everything is set. So there's the target. I'm going to slew to the target. I'm going to center it. I'm going to force a calibration before I do my guiding. I'm going to run an autofocus. And I've got a meridian flip set as automatic. I've got some triggers here for autofocusing after 60 minutes. And there's my 60 of each, red, green, and blue, RGB. My loop conditions should be set up here. See now it's set here again. And I'm gonna warm the camera and park the scope. So now we just hit the play button and it says guider not connected. Okay, cancel, equipment, forgot to do that. See, I just feel like with Nina works great. It's a great program, but I just feel like you're bouncing all over the place. So we've connected our guider. Go back into the sequencer tab. And I don't know if you can hear that, but we're slewing to the target. So the first thing it does is it's got a plate solve, which means it's going to take a 10-second picture of the night sky. It's going to recognize the star pattern, match that to a database, and then slew the telescope to where it needs to be. Now, one thing I did while this is setting up, something different that I'm trying that I'm actually noticing is making my images a little bit better, is because we got a little moon out and I do live in a Bortle 7 sky, pretty bright. Even though this is a 1600 mono camera, I have threaded on a 2-inch Optolong L Pro on the end of the focal reducer. So my red, blue, and green is also going to have like it's almost like double stacking your filters. But I did it with M33 and it turned out really well, especially with the luminance. It provided a little more contrast in my data. So give it a shot, see what you think. Let me know in the comments if it works out for you, because I feel like it's working out pretty good for me. So right here you can see a little bit of the Fish Head Nebula. That's a 10-second image on the red filter, and you can already see some detail in here. So, and you can see a satellite. Thanks, Elon. Appreciate it, buddy. So it's pretty much found the Heart Nebula. It's centered it here. Like I said, you can see the Fish Head Nebula, which is the lower portion. The heart's right in here. And now it's just going to make sure that it's centered. It's doing one more plate solve image here. So next step should be an autofocus, which is boring, but it's pretty crucial. And see, for some reason, judging by what's going on down here, it's already guiding. So once again, there's some quirkiness in Nina, the new version of Nina 1.11. You know, even though I did click it to do a force calibration, it didn't. It's guiding. But 0.75, I'm not gonna argue, but I'll check it out. Oh, let me show you something else really quick while this is doing this. Antoine with Galactic Hunter had a video about AnyDesk, using it to remote into. Great program. I can now pop open my iPad and remote into my laptop and see everything that's going on. All I got to do is just make sure it's open and then minimized, and then I can remote into it later just to check on things throughout the night. Don't even have to get out of bed. Anyway, I don't know what to do anymore. It's fun. So we're popping in a pretty good graph here. It's going to go out of focus, and then the lower part of your curve here is the focal point, or the focus point, and then it's going to go back the other way, and it's basically building a graph to know exactly where to move the focuser back to. So we got a fairly decent looking graph. I mean, this is to be expected with my backlash and everything that I've set up. We got a satellite, look at that, bam, bam. It's a slow mover. And now it's gone. My exposure times for autofocusing are 10 seconds. I found that to work the best, you know, especially like with narrowband filters. You really need that extra time. Makes autofocusing a little longer, but it's worth it. So what we're looking for down here is this HFR. We're looking for anything like 2.5, 2.4 with a red filter, 2.6. Anything under 2.8 is going to be good. 2.38, baby. What? Who gets excited about 2.38 anything? Astrophotographers. All right, so now it's exposing. 180 seconds. So I'll be back in 3 minutes, and we'll see what this first red sub of the Heart Nebula looks like. All right, we're getting close. We're getting close. Let's see what this first sub looks like. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Bam. That's pretty good for a red filter, and it's got the Optilong L Enhance on the front of it. What do you think about that? Let's zoom in. You hit the statistics button. It tells you what your HFR and this mean number down. Mean, not mean like, but like mean number. The lower it is, the better your contrast. So if you start seeing that number going up, then you know you got some high haze. If it goes to the roof, you got clouds. But we want to keep this number pretty low. So that's basically an average, and the next sub that comes in will compare that number and see how it does. And that'll kind of give us what our sky conditions are. What am I doing? I'm doing a gain. I'm like a one-hit wonder. No, I'm not a one-hit wonder. One trick pony, that's it. Gain 139. I shoot everything gain 139, offset 50. Anyway, Let's look back at the image. Enough of that. So yeah, we got some good detail in here. This is one really cool thing I like about Nina that you couldn't do in APT. APT's the zoom in and scroll and look at your image factor is pretty lacking. But there it is. 1 3-minute red sub. Check out that fish head, man. That's got some detail in it. I'm stoked. Stars look good. All the way to the edge. Get good focus. You know, if you get that 1600 mono camera, the bundle, you get the narrowband filters, and you're just churning out blue and gold images, like I did, and still do. But eventually, you know, try to shoot some of that. Go back to those roots of that HA RGB, and hopefully this image turns out well. And there's a great image at the end of this video to show you. And maybe I'll follow up with a processing video. Maybe. All right, appreciate it. And thanks for coming along for a first ever remote ride, even though it didn't really work out. Planning on going back, so stay tuned.